there is like incident response, a complete cycle is written, right? And Lockheed Martin Kilchin, then you have this MITRE ATT&CK framework. Because we are studying this thing, because this thing is going to be mapped in your sim almost everywhere. Almost every sim solution will have this thing. Okay. Now, if you talk about like how do you respond and what kind of document and creating runbooks, this thing. So there is a formula, right? I'll tell you a framework which you need to study and get back to me by tomorrow anyhow on that framework that covers actually all of these things. Okay, so this thing is there. Let's suppose NIDS, local firewall, user account, group policy object. Okay, these things like phishing we talked about yesterday, right? So these things we will cover through tickets, right? So that would be a high level. I would say you will understand more properly how incident is actually working and what all things we can sort out in an incident. Okay, so starting with yesterday's part, that is a little bit we'll study. 20 minutes we will devote it over here onto IR part. Okay, so guys, there is a standard right now in organization. Every time we'll talk about standard part. Okay, now see how same exactly what we studied, same exactly this thing is there. NIST is there, National Institute of Standard and Technology. They have a special edition which is 861 R2. R2 is release 2. Okay, in organization, in companies, guys, we are following this incident response, incident handling guide as per their standard. Have a look, everybody, right? This looks like big. Okay, so it has couple of like policies and all these things over here, right? This all things are there. You can see right now they talk about policy, plan, procedure, these things, building up the team, how do we handle the incident, in preparing what we will do, in detection what we will do, in containment what we will do, in post incident how and what we will do. Okay, we'll be studying this thing. We'll be studying this thing through I would say through slides, and then I will come to this incident handling checklist, that what all things we should check whenever you are taking up the incident handling at your part over there. Okay, so no issues in that. Cool. So first of all, let's talk about this. If you talk about the process, guys, it will look exactly like this. This is the exact process image. Exact preparation, detection and analysis is nothing but when you say like identification, this thing is there. Okay, and then you have containment, eradication, and recovery and post incident activity. Cool. And you can see that it's an ongoing process, one by one everything is going on the screen. Okay, and really, to be very frank, it goes like this also, right? Now my only thing is, guys, there is like it is, you can say there is a circle, like it is going on, process is going on, and the last thing, it is a feedback loop, we call it. This is what we call it as a feedback loop. Okay, so after post incident activity, why it is again going to the preparation stage? See, guys, after the incident, what happened? Knowledge base is fine. Okay, knowledge base is fine, there is no issue, right? See, what we are doing is we are doing a re-verification over here. So you can say current, after recovery we'll do detection analysis again. Okay, no, like it is like you close the case, sometime happen after a couple of period of time it can come again. You need to like prepare for it next time also, right? So let's suppose you're like signature based thing, you talk about ransomware stuff, you talk about emoted thing, Trojan malware, anything you talk about that have a signature, that have a pattern. Right. Now what we do is after that it will go hit and it will again recur in the environment. So we have to like prepare with the new stuff. Maybe it will change the signature. Maybe it will change something else. But you have a reference. So as said by Mr. Guredi, you have a reference, right? Already in the lesson run. In the run books, we write everything over there. Okay. So that's the reason we are going over this. And this four stage thing, right? Because yesterday we studied preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, and then post-incident activity or like lesson learned thing. So over here it is concise to four. NIST SP 861 standard, release 2 standard, it is using this thing only over there. Right, is that clear? Now I'm going to one by one again revise with you that what happened exactly in preparation, what exactly happened in containment, eradication, post-incident and detection, right? One by one. See over the screen. This process is not linear. This is a cylindrical process. That's the reason I ask you that feedback loop. Okay. NIST SP 861 is in standard, National Institute of Standard and Technology. SP is spatial publication. 861 release R2 we are using in the industry standard. Okay. Second thing, we'll go one by one. Yesterday we talked about that we will build up a team. 100% right. We'll build up the policies, SOP, right? You talk about scope of work, what we need to do, right? So here I would say now something add on we will see up over here. Preparation includes building proper cyber defenses in your organization. To be very frank, here we can talk about security trainings also. We can talk about like training up a personnel on a particular product. Let's suppose you deploy a email gateway. Let's suppose you deploy maybe you can deploy something like Fortinet firewall is there. Okay, we can deploy that too. So let's suppose you deploy a UTM solution, FireEye solution. Okay, so these are some products in the cybersecurity, good costly product, and we are going to give them training. That is also coming in the preparatory stage. You're making your cyber defense strong over there. Okay, policy, procedure, these things will come over here, no problem. Building up the cyber incident response kit. Okay, that is one of the stuff. What all things we will include, see over here. Digital forensics workstation, forensic software, packet capturing devices, spare server, network gear for this kind of stuff. At any point of time you want to go for a remote investigation, you can go. Backup devices, portable printer, all these things, evidence collection materials, these things you require. I'm not saying like we are doing a human investigation over here, we are doing a digital investigation. Okay, so all these things are required, to be very frank. So basically, when you talk about CSIRT, that is Computer Security Incident Response Team. So whenever we are talking about this term, we are mostly talking about tools that are like I would say portable. I would say that can be run on a live environment easily. You attach and you can run. There is no extra things you should require to run it. Okay, so live things are very much powerful over there. You go plug and play, and your device starts working over there. These kind of things we require. Just like we talk about your Fred server. Fred server works on ports mostly. You have a hard disk, okay, just swap the hard disk over there, put it in the disk system, you're good to go. All right. So these kind of fast things we require over there. Cool, perfect. Then if we talk about detection and analysis, here we were discussing about yesterday, guys, that how will you do detection and analysis. So we talked about like we have SIM solution, we have tools that help in detection. There are now more tools coming up in the market, guys. UTM is there, firewall is there, IDS, IPS, and AI is already being started inside. I am talking about artificial intelligence. They are so much smart right now that they will do half of the work themselves. They are so much fine tuned, I would say, right now. Okay, so you can say like primarily passive activities designed to uncover and analyze the incident. Primarily. Okay. So last point is quite impressive over here. What is a passive activity over here? They are saying passive activities are designed to uncover and analyze the incident. Primarily. What is the meaning? See, you can stop from the real-time monitoring. SIM solution is there. You can stop from there also, right? Passive activity is something, guys, if you remember, like if I give you a PCAP file, that is nothing but a passive analysis you are doing up over there, right? So primarily, I would say why they're writing this thing, most of the time you will get to know that this has already happened now, right? I'm taking the future thing which has already happened now. That's why they call it that this kind of incident has happened with us. Real time incidents are there, I'm not denying, but most of the time they are, you get to know after it has been done. There's the reason it is written like this. Okay, cool. Let's proceed further. They talk about alerts, logs, publicly available information, people. Right. So alerts coming from, you can say, IDS, IPS, intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, SIM solution, and other software alerts. Logs, we have seen, guys, we have seen your Windows logs, Linux logs. You can get your network logs also, network device logs also, application log also. Any log you can get. Okay, publicly available information. Yesterday we took an example of that how to find email of a corporate. Good to go, easily you can find. Cool. If I give you a number, let's suppose I give you a number, right? So guys, if I give you a telephone number, where you will search for it? Totally OSINT I'm talking about. If I give you a phone number where you can search information about that number, will you check in your social medias or not? You will check for sure. 100% right. Right? Don't forget, guys, Telegram and Skype. Don't forget these areas also. Okay? You will get some good information over there as well because people are using these kind of stuff today. Right? We'll be talking about OSINT. We'll be talking, this is completely like OSINT. We call it open source intelligence. OSINT is there. Okay, we'll be discussing this thing when we touch threat intelligence part with you. Then you will get to know all of these stuff. Okay, people, you will get information from people as well. There is no problem in that. Okay, then we'll talk about like your containment, eradication, and recovery. So, containment, eradication, recovery is nothing. There is a proper 5 steps are there. I'm going to discuss you the 5 steps. Meaning remains the same. You can see focus on stopping and spreading the incident, remove from the network, recover from it. Simple, simple, right? But there are like 5 steps you can see over here. Similar, they are taking pick containment strategy. Okay, so when we talk about this first point, they're writing containment strategy. Like I told you, like a critical server is over there. Okay, and we are talking about intacting that critical server, or you want to give the uptime to it. Okay, now there are possibilities, certain situations are there where you're not able to inform to your customer, to your member firm, that this thing is happening with us. Cool. In that manner, what will happen, that you have to like accept and you need to close down your certain services. Like yesterday we were talking about cluster. So one cluster is up, then another cluster is closed. You will fix that and make it high availability over there. We call it HA, high availability over there. Okay, so possibility is there, we can talk about that as well. Use the strategy to limit down the damage and the incident causes. Most of the time, guys, most of the time, let me take an example over here. So guys, let's suppose there is a huge request coming to one server. Huge. DDoS is coming. DOS or DDoS, distributed denial of service, or denial of service is coming. Huge request is coming to you. Okay. What is the best strategy that you will apply on a particular server? Anyone heard of sinkhole? What is that? Diverting the traffic. 100% right. So see over here, guys, what will happen? This is there. Okay, what we'll do, we will like redirect the traffic to where we call it like a DNS sinkhole. It's a place where you will like reach up the packet over there and you will start dropping the packet over here if the signatures or the validity of that packet is not matching with your infrastructure. Right, so acknowledgement packet is like, it is a, there is a time limit we can hold, and after that you can start dropping that part. Another thing which people play over here also, you can play about your network load balancers over here. You put LBD and you do like sharing between the network load balancer, and you can minimize the risk, I would say. Or you can, let's suppose 840 Gbps, it will disperse into the network load balancer, but 840 Gbps is actually huge. It will come from a cloud traffic. Okay, so it's not like one mitigation, you have to provide multiple things over here. Sinkhole you can use, NLBD you can use, network load balancers over here, and like you can use in clusters, to be very frank, different instances, so they will disperse the traffic. So it will be like I would say it will be dispersed into 3 or 4 network balancers, and it will suppress the attack that is coming to you. Okay, anybody can play up with the game also. Like they generally come up with multiple source IPs. Okay, multiple source IPs. They can play over there also. Cool. Sometimes they come up with like a volumetric attack. They will just come and they will just start bombarding over there. Sometimes they will come with a very silent feature. They'll come with a small file, and then they start eating your resources into your system. Possibilities there, small file start taking into your resource system. Okay, possibilities there. In order to remove it, guys, we have lot of protection stuff in the market. One of the best that almost every corporate uses up is Arbor. Okay, Arbor is a very nice tool in case of DDoS protection. Interesting tool over there, right? Interesting appliance, I can say. It's a complete, the dashboard and the working layer on all the OSI layer is, it's very amazing tool itself is very amazing. The response is very good out there. Okay. Second thing which most of the Fortune 500 are also implementing, that is nothing but your WatchGuard tool. It's all commercial, okay? It's all commercial. WatchGuard is also good for your network security. Very good product. Okay, I'll showcase you both of them. This one also, WatchGuard. Okay, especially just for network security, this thing is a very amazing product. Very amazing product. It will safeguard you from lot of network attacks. Lot of network attacks. Zero auth, SAML, all this thing comes up very nicely in through web. Okay, it will guard you in a very nice manner over there, and it follows very much good compliance also. PCI DSS, HIPAA, all those common things, SOX you talk about, they follow all those compliance rules as well over there. Okay, so these two things you can keep it with you. At least you should know about them, that these kind of things are there. And once you join out a company, especially for all those fresher people out there, whenever you join, you will see these kind of products are implemented over there already. At least you should know the names, right? At least. And you can read about the product launch videos. You should know their capabilities, how much they can work for us. But these two are very famous product whenever we talk about your network security, DOS protection. Very good products, both of them. Okay, cool. Then the next part which they talk about, I'll talk about over here, is they are talking about over here is evidence, gather the evidence needed for the potential. Okay, that is there. Identify attacker, system or attacker. That means nothing but your threat actor who is attacking you over here. So basically they are talking about threat actors over here. Okay, and then remove the effects of the incident so that you can make your system up and running and back to the normal operations. Okay,